The Republic of Mauritius is located to the east of Madagascar. Whilst Mauritius has made impressive gains in reducing the level of rural poverty over the last 2 decades, there is a high risk that structural changes in the sugar and textile industries, allied to increasing energy prices, could see large numbers of marginal households slip backwards into poverty unless there is proactive action to help them establish new means of livelihoods. 2 of the most vulnerable groups have been identified as the coastal communities with heavy dependence on marine resources and smallholder sugarcane planters and their families. Rodrigues Island lies 650 kilometers east of mainland Mauritius and is 18.3 kilometers long and 6.5 kilometers broad. It is surrounded by a large fringing reef forming a lagoon of 240 kilometers square. Over 10% of the total workforce in Rodrigues is employed in the fisheries sector, and fishers are amongst the poorest members of the community. However, unsustainable exploitation of marine resources on the island has led to significant degradation of the marine environment and a marked decline in the fisheries catch within the lagoon. Failure to address the specific needs of the fisher communities could well see a resurgence of rural poverty that would prove extremely difficult to deal with. The problems of coastal fishing communities in Rodrigues, which rely heavily on lagoon fishing, can be summarized as low levels of income and profits from fishing activities, which are partly a result of overexploited fisheries resources, high levels of dependence on direct government support measures, particularly the bad weather allowance, which further contribute to fish stock depletion by subsidizing the cost of fishing, allowing fishing to continue at catch levels that would otherwise be uneconomic, and limited alternative income-producing opportunities. During the last 10 years, Shoals Rodrigues Association has been assessing both the finfish and octopus catches, and from these findings have been sharing the information with fishers so that they realize the situation. And in 2006, Shoals Rodrigues, with the funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, implemented a project on sustainable reef fisheries development in the Rodrigues lagoon. The challenge was to convince the fisher community of the need to set up new fish zones or marine reserves in their area. Convincing arguments were needed to explain the benefits of marine protected areas to the fishers. And during those meetings, their main concern remained alternative livelihood. The NGO undertook as well a comprehensive and very scientific fish survey, measuring each catch and compiling miles and miles of data, which still now is being used by other organizations and donors. The results of those surveys were then disseminated in very simple language to the fisher community, who were made to realize that they were catching undersized fishes and octopuses. The only solution was now clear to the fishers. They had to decide on no-fish zones where the fishes and octopuses would breed, grow, and repopulate the lagoon. As a result of this comprehensive consultation with the fisher community, 5 marine reserves were finally proposed by Shoals Rodrigues Association to the local authorities. In 2007, the local authorities proclaimed 4 of the 5 proposed areas as marine reserves. This was the highlight of this SGP project, policy influenced by our grantee Shoals Rodrigues Association. Now it was time for training on marine reserves management. The first marine reserve was set up in Rivière Banane, a small village on the northeast of the island, where fishing and agriculture play a very important role in the standard of living of the inhabitants. With the marine reserve in place, these inhabitants found themselves very restricted in their day-to-day activity. So it was fundamental to turn to other activities to generate income. With funds from the Indian Ocean Commission, Shoals Rodrigues demarcated the Rivière Banane Reserve, and the Rodrigues Regional Assembly decided to use Rivière Banane as a case study to show the other fishers how actually a marine reserve works. Further consultation were necessary with donors to ensure full compliance from the fishers of Rivière Banane, and also to make sure that the pilot study was a successful story. Shoals Rodrigues sought funding from the GF Small Grants Program and the Indian Ocean Commission to help 2 new fisher associations in Rivière Banane to put in place 2 projects of alternative livelihoods. The first project implemented by Ocean Tribe Association has seen the first ever glass bottom boat in Rodrigues for ecotourism activities. 10 fishers are the direct beneficiaries. They were trained as eco-guides and skippers, and they are meant to take tourists to visit the wonderful corals of their marine reserve. The second project is a small-scale animal farming by Association des Pêcheurs de Rivière Banane. 21 fisher women are the direct beneficiaries. The beneficiaries were trained on sheep, goat and chicken rearing and also on marketing strategies. They are receiving further training and support from the Commission of Agriculture. The fishers have proved themselves to be very efficient and hard workers. Early this year, they have launched their small-scale animal husbandry project and have started to take tourists out in their boats. The fishers are now helping part of the Rodrigues lagoon to recover and ensuring long-term fisheries through sustainable activities. This is certainly an example to follow and to repeat in other areas of the island.